If you are looking for the best racing wheel, here's a list you must see. We made this list based on our personal preferences and sorted it based on their features, prices, quality, durability, and reputation of the manufacturers and customer feedback. Also, we have included options for every type of customer. So let's get started. At the 10th position of our list, we have Logitech G923, the best all-round model combining good value, reliability, and great realism is Logitech's latest force feedback G923. It's an iteration of Logitech's already brilliant G29, which is one of the most popular choices. And it's not hard to see why. With 900-degree rotation and hand-stitched leather rim and stainless steel shift paddles and pedals, it gives an immersive driving experience in games without breaking the bank. Priced similarly to its predecessor, the G923 improves upon the G29 with a new FFB system. This has a 1000 Hz polling rate for fast feedback and what's happening in-game, helping you feel every rumble strip and tire losing grip. Supported games such as Assetto Corsa Competizione are specially tuned to take full advantage of that force feedback system too. 3 pedals mean you've got a clutch spare if you want to add Logitech's gear shifter to your setup later on down the line. There's also a small LED rev counter which helps you to know when it's time to change gear in games that support the feature. Whether you go for the Xbox or PlayStation compatible model, both are certified to work on the best gaming PC. Moving on to the next at number 9 with Hori Overdrive. Like others on this list, Hori offers 2 different wheels depending on the platform you're playing on. While the Hori Apex is for PS4, the Hori Overdrive is for Xbox One. Like its PS4 counterpart, the Hori Overdrive is a good budget alternative for those who prefer arcade racing. However, this wheel comes with no force feedback and feels considerably cheaper. The number 8 position is held by Hori Apex. The Hori Apex looks a lot like the other wheels here, but it's actually rather different. This isn't a force feedback wheel relying on rumble instead. Fire up a game like Project Cars and the Thrustmaster T150 will decimate the Hori for quality of experience. However, the Hori is perfect for arcade racers, some of which only have rumble effects rather than the force feedback programmed in any way. The more expensive wheels are lost on a game like Need for Speed. The Hori isn't. It rumbles when you drift, hit a barrier or car, or go over road markings, but you don't have to fight the wheel. There's a little bit of resistance to turns, and the wheel rights itself when you take your hands off, but there aren't motors in the base at war with your arms. As a result, the Hori is also much lighter than any other wheel here. You'll still need something to clamp it in, but this is the one wheel here that won't seem hard done by if it's not treated to a proper frame or wheel stand. Clearly made for racers where you'll use nitros every 4.5 seconds, it tries harder than the rest to put all the main PS4 buttons at your fingertips. There's a pair of them right on the wheel rim itself. You can also alter the D-pad to emulate the DualShock's own D-pad or either of the analog sticks. There are good bits, sure, particularly the lower price. However, the Hori Apex and the Hori Overdrive is easily the most toy-like wheel in this group. It has plastic gear shifters, fairly cheap plastic pedals, and no parts to upgrade. It also has very limited rotation compared with all the other wheels here, turning just 270 degrees rather than 900 or 1080. This is what Hori was aiming for though. It's a maker of arcade gear, and this is clearly an arcade wheel. And while the Logitech G29 makes it look like a toy, it's miles better than the no-brand $50 racing wheels you may have tried over the years. Next at number 7, we have Thrustmaster TMX. While for PS4 fans, there's the Thrustmaster T150, Xbox lovers should pick up the Thrustmaster TMX. They use the same wheel-based tech, but have controls and compatibility chips needed to get on board with these seemingly picky consoles. That means, like with the Thrustmaster T150, You're looking at a great budget wheel with excellent force feedback, but downfalls include a notchy feel and pedals that are wanting. The number 6 position is held by Thrustmaster T150. While those with plenty of cash to spend should definitely consider the T300 RS and its brothers, there's also a lower cost version that still has many of the same benefits at half the price. So what are the differences between the T150 and T300 RS? The main one is that while the T300 RS has force feedback driven entirely by belts, the T150 uses a combo of a helical gear system and a belt. Predictably enough, then, the effect is halfway beaten the Logitech G29 and T300S. It's smoothish, but not entirely, and you feel the effect of the geared motor as it pulls against you when you take a corner at high speed. Given the price, the results are great though. The parts that seem a little cheap in the more expensive Thrustmaster are even more budgety here though. All plastic flimsy pedals are miles off what you get with the Logitech wheel. Their low resistance action makes them feel like arcade racer fodder, while the force feedback is definitely deserving of the most navel-gazing of realistic driving sims. The exterior of the steering wheel part itself is also all plastic without the metal parts that makes these wheels seem a bit less toy-like. There are still sports car-like metal spoke shifters behind the wheel though. A wheel that packs in a lot of substance if not the luxury touch, the Thrustmaster T150 is probably the best budget wheel around. You can get an even cheaper model, the T80, but as that's not a force feedback model, it's in a completely different lower league. The number 5 position is dominated by Thrustmaster T-GT. The Thrustmaster T300 RS and TX are the default enthusiast racing wheels from Thrustmaster, and they're some of the best around. There's now an even more expensive T-GT, but as that costs $799, it's out of reach for most budgets. What makes the Thrustmaster T300 RS and its brothers so easy to recommend is the new force feedback system. It's not geared using a series of belts, instead powered by brushless motors. This gives it the perfect combo of power and smoothness for a sense of realism and immersion you can't really beat at the price. Any force feedback wheel will add a whole new dimension of fun to reasonably realistic racing games like Forza Motorsport and Drive Club. But at the price, these Thrustmasters are the obvious choice. There's a little gnawing rumble as you fight against the wheel, which is the feel of the motor working, but it's otherwise great. Moving on to the next at number 4 with Thrustmaster TX Ferrari 458 Italia Edition. Much like with the G29 and G920, these Thrustmaster wheels are essentially the same but boast the key difference of working with different consoles. The Thrustmaster TX is for Xbox One and the T300 RS is for PlayStation owners. Again, the TX boasts a force feedback system and is considerably quieter than the Logitech G29 with a rubber grip wheel, but it does lack a lot of the little touches that make the Logitech wheels great, including a more comfortable wheel, and the pedals have some issues. The number 3 position is held by Logitech Dual Motor Feedback Driving Force G29. The Logitech Dual Motor Feedback Driving Force G29 racing wheel is one of the best PS4 steering wheels you can buy right now. This steering wheel offers everything you need, from versatile compatibility to highly realistic steering to quality construction. Able to work with PS4 as well as PS3 and PS5 consoles, the steering wheel is built with hand-stitched leather and steel ball bearings. You'll get both the steering wheel and the stainless steel shifter plus pedals. All of the gaming controls you need are easily accessible, including an on-wheel D-pad, console buttons, paddle shifters, and an array of LED indicator lights. While you play, you'll love the dual motor force feedback that stimulates a smooth racing experience. You can easily feel your tires when you turn, along with different types of terrain. You'll get just the right balance of force so you can steer to a win with precision. Next at number 2, we have the Logitech G920. The Logitech G920 is pretty much the same as the G29 above, except it's for use with the Xbox One, while the G29 is for use with the PlayStation 4. Like its PS4 counterpart, the G920 is more affordable than the Thrustmaster wheels, but still boasts great quality. However, it also comes with the same downfall of being a bit noisier than most wheels on the market. Finally, the number one position is dominated by Logitech G29. The Logitech G29 for PS4 and G920 for Xbox One are great too, but are quite similar to those older wheels that comes with good and bad parts. First, the G29 is a lot more affordable than the direct Thrustmaster alternative, the T300 series wheels. The quality of the wheels itself is great too. There's a metal core and leather stitched over the parts your hands grip. Fanatec and Thrustmaster charge a lot more for leather wheels. The Logitech G29 gets you higher end extras at no extra cost. Its pedal board is much better than anything else at that price too, with a board that has a clutch and very solid metal plates. It's not plastic rubbish. There is one reason to prefer a Thrustmaster wheel though. The Logitech wheels still use a completely gear-based system for their force feedback rather than belts. While it's very powerful, you can feel this geared effect as you turn the wheel, as its motion is a bit notchy rather than completely smooth. After a while, you get used to it, but it makes the whole experience that bit less realistic. Unless you drive a Flintstones era car, it shouldn't feel notchy, right? The Logitech G29 is also a bit noisier than the more expensive belt-driven models. That's all for today. We upload product review videos every single day, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button for the upcoming video notification.